Remember when you would be excited about a new Marvel movie coming out because you knew it was probably gonna be amazing, right? Because Marvel didn't release a bunch of garbage. If something wasn't good, it was a surprise. But long have those days passed, because we all know Phase 4 has been quite the opposite of that. It's been at the point to where almost everything feels either rushed out just to capitalize on the name of it for the views, or completely changed, or perhaps just, okay, let's pull a little switcheroo on a character that you love, either change them or have them sidelined to another character for woke points, you know, the whole MCU stuff going on, so on and so forth. But as things have been lately with Phase 4, it's just like, we'll see if it's good. Maybe I'll skip this. I'll skip that. Probably not gonna like this. Probably not gonna like that. Oh, wow, look, I'm pleasantly surprised that XYZ is good in Phase 4. No way. Haven't seen that in a while. Well, let's dive into today's video. This tip for today's video was given to me by Spider Jedi on my Discord server. If you want to give me suggestions for videos, feel free to join my Discord server, link in the description. All right, so Marvel is reportedly refocusing on quality over quantity for Phase 5 and 6. Okay, but is it going to be too late? That's the question. All right. Marvel could be looking to focus on quality over quantity for the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Phases 5 and 6. According to a Marvel Studios source cited by Cosmic Circus, the studio is re-examining its upcoming slate after internal negative feedback over Phase 4's distribution and quality. The quality has definitely been going down. You see, if you compare a lot of modern Marvel CGI to even like way back in Pirates of the Caribbean, the Kraken and that, even Gollum in the Lord of the Rings, it's just like, it feels like the graphical quality has been stagnant or even dropped. I mean, it's been so long. We should, in theory, be seeing a lot better in that department, shouldn't we? But I mean, that's the least of the issues with Marvel, in my opinion. I think the biggest thing is that, honestly, they've been woke washed. They woke wash so many of their properties now, and they care more about that message than they do the actual story, the actual Marvel property, actually creating something fun and interesting, as you've seen me illustrate on this channel time and time again. This is how I feel about it. All right, so according to a Marvel Studios source, the studio is re-examining its upcoming slate after internal negative feedback, blah, blah, blah. The issues addressed behind the scenes allegedly include creative difficulties with scripts, post-production problems, and lackluster visual effects. To prevent Phase 5 and 6 from continuing down a similar path, the report claims Disney could ensure a creative oversight on MCU projects still in the pre-production stage, which in effect could see future projects delayed or outright canceled. Please, some of these just need to go. Some of them need to go. They've been run to the ground. They've been ruined. Okay? Just let them go. Captain Marvel, let it go. The Marvels, let it go. All right, of course, it's worth noting this report has yet to be confirmed through any official Disney or Marvel channels at this time of the writing. Okay, so something does desperately have to change for them. We know this. Disney in general has been running everything they make to the ground. Look at that one movie that just came out on Thanksgiving for the Thanksgiving holiday, that kids movie, that ugly 3D. I didn't even cover it because it just felt like it wasn't even worth my time. It looked awful. That is slated to lose over 100 million or something of that effect. It's just like Disney's got to do something now with their whole CEO stuff going on and all that. Maybe we will see some of that. Now, I don't think we're going to totally win the culture war here, but do I think we're getting closer? Yes. All right. Marvel Studios has come under fire for quality issues since the beginning of Phase 4. VFX companies have slammed Marvel for overworking its artists and giving them tight deadlines to complete their work. The studio has considered forming its own Marvel in-house VFX department in response to the backlash. Okay, they're just going to create their own slave labor. That fixes it all, right? Dude, I swear, like, visual effects teams, my goodness, we all know this. This is common knowledge. They are constantly overworked and underpaid. I used to have a friend who did visual effects for a lot of big time movies. And I remember him just, like, struggling just to get by. It was awful. And he'd worked on some of, like, the biggest movies ever. So it's just sad that that's how, you got some people who are just making absolute bank, and you got the people in the suits and all that, but then you have those that are really putting in the work who are not getting the recognition that they deserve. All right, so following the historic success of Avengers Endgame in 2019, fan anticipation was high for what was in store for Phase 4 of the MCU, but a common complaint following each new release in Phase 4 is that the shared universe now feels too disconnected, and there is an inconsistency in tone between projects such as Eternals, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, or Thor: Love and Thunder. Marvel Studios president and chief creative officer Kevin Feige defended this aspect of it, claiming this is what makes Phase 4 so unique. No, I think that's a complete cop-out. Here's my issue with Phase 4 is it's just a discombobulated mess, and it doesn't make any sense. They can just give us these stories and say, oh, by the way, that happened in another multiverse. We're going to continue on this part instead, or we're going to do a different thing instead. So it's essentially fan fiction. I mean, kind of isn't at all, but seriously though, it is essentially non-canon, right? But because of the multiverse, they are able to claim it as canon. So it's just the same as it's more along the lines of, y'all 90s kids, do you remember Mighty Morphin Power Rangers whenever they had that big dream sequence? It was either an episode, it might even have been a two-part. I believe it was Trini that had the dream. This is all just off the top of my head. But yeah, I remember as a kid just being like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? After all that, it was just a dream. So this more or less is along those same lines. I think a lot of people don't like those. At least I don't. Because, this don't count. You don't, who cares if you're emotionally invested in this character and that character and what they went through, and that you were worried for them, or whatever it may be, because it didn't count. Because multiverse, yeah. That's always the intention, is that Marvel Studios logo doesn't promise a particular group of characters and a particular exact one. Feige said, it promises a spirit and a style and a vibe and an emotion, I hope. And it's perfect timing to go from Moon Knight to Miss Marvel, specifically because they are so unique, so different, with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and Thor: Love and Thunder on either end of that. Which, Tony, I didn't even give Thor: Love and Thunder a watch. I refused to watch it. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness I thought was abysmal, and Doctor Strange is my favorite of the MCU. Oh, and I wanted to point out too, with this multiverse thing, the same essential principles also happened with the last Spider-Man movie, Far From Home, Returning Home, whatever home, I don't even freaking remember, the one that had the multiverse of Spider-Man in it. The one with Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, all of that. Now, as much as I did enjoy that movie, I did thoroughly loved that movie and very much enjoyed it. I still don't like the fact that it was like, okay, everything's a do-over now. I think in this particular case, the only reason why I liked it with that specific property with Spider-Man is because I don't like what they've done with Spider-Man in the MCU at all. I don't have a problem with Tom Holland. I actually think he makes he's a good actor, and I think that with the right script, he could pull off a perfect Peter Parker and Spider-Man. But I do take a lot of issue just with what they've done with his character and what they've turned him into to make him fit into the MCU, making him basically Tony Stark's shadow for the two movies before it, to take away just his snarky, sarcastic personality, because, instead they just wanted to only focus on the goody two-shoes side of him, so on and so forth, his dynamic with his friends, all that. I just wasn't a fan, and I grew up watching like that 90s cartoon Spider-Man, and that is just, I love that era of Spider-Man. And I'm partial to that era. So what they've done with the MCU Spider-Man, no, I personally have not been a fan of. So because they're like, okay, we're doing it over now because his friend's memories are wiped, everybody's memories are wiped, so he's got to start over. That's kind of a good thing because then I don't have to you know, see the version of Spider-Man that I didn't like. They can actually kind of do it over again without having to completely reboot it. But they had to fix their problem before. That is the overall point here, right? So other than cases of that, where it's like, okay, wait a minute, do over, we have to fix what we've messed up, then no, I don't like the whole multiverse idea of this doesn't count type thing. So phases 5 and 6 have already seen some setbacks in the theatrical side this year. Spider-Man No Way Home director John Watts dropped out of helming the Fantastic Four reboot and was replaced by WandaVision showrunner Matt Shakman. Additionally, Mahershala Ali's MCU debut in Blade was put on pause after director Basim Tariq left the project and script issues delayed the production. Lovecraft Country director Jan Dimanche took over from Tariq in November, which I made a video about this as well, about Blade, the alleged leaked script, everything that was going to be, which sounds like an absolute nightmare. So if you want to check that out, you can check that in my recent uploads. Fantastic Four, they have not been able to make a good movie forever. So I don't have much faith in that now, especially since, you know, comic book movies have, for the most part, with rare exception, been pretty bad as of late. In reevaluating the Disney Plus content, the source indicates that Marvel could push for more special presentations in the style of Werewolf by Night and the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. This approach would supposedly be more cost effective for the studio and prevent franchise fatigue for the fans. Oh, so a bunch of like mini seasonal movie, or like not even movie, like little mini series, little mini, you know, videos, just to like, okay, this is fun, it's cheap. I mean, dude, you know that things are not going well for Disney, MCU, Marvel, Disney. These are like some big, huge, massive names, right? You would expect them to have, I mean, they can afford talent, they can afford good writers, they can afford to make good quality stuff. So the fact that they're even, okay, let's do these little bitty things because it's cost effective, okay? Let's work on this cost effectiveness and franchise fatigue, which franchise fatigue isn't even, it's bullcrap fatigue that everybody has. We're tired of the bullcrap. This ain't no franchise fatigue. If you made good stuff, we'd be happy with it. So anyway, that's just where I'm at right now. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I will catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.